One of my fears is redundancy. I know that's, I'm glad I'm telling you this now. To keep saying the same thing, to not change the message, to have you watch this and not realize you're being given the same message over and over and over again. It's very difficult when you do this to not find yourself in a mindset where you're repeating the same thing, trying to find something different. And trying to find something different sometimes with a bunch of people who don't necessarily want something different. They don't want something different. They like the redundancy. Not you per se, but a lot of people like this. And what is happening right now, depending upon where you go, is this absolute fascination, this reaction to what is happening regarding Donald Trump. It's the most incredible thing in the world. I don't know if it's best to call it an allergic reaction, an anaphylactic reaction. I just don't know what it is. And I try my best to come up with a new way to say, well, here's what it is. Here's what's going on. And I think in fact, I know I'm wasting my time because it's so complicated. And what we do is, if I could sit and just read or pay attention, it'd be fine. But I have to read and assimilate and take this in and then give it back and then present it in this platform so that you at least find it, first of all, and most importantly, entertaining, so that you go back to it. It's got to be entertaining. Now think about that for a moment. Think about how that means. I've got to entertain you. And I think you can do that with the truth. But it can't be too deep. It can't be too negative. Can't be too true. It's got to be this balance of what you want to hear and to have much of your expectations realized. That's the secret to everything. To have your expectations realized, appreciated, and then replicated. When you go to a restaurant, when you go to McDonald's, you want that experience, good, bad, or indifferent, but you want it to be exactly the way it was last time. You want consistency. You don't want this particular McDonald's to vary and say, you know what, we're going to give this a kind of a Thai influence. No, I don't want a Thai influence. I don't want any of that. I want something different. I want this. Donald Trump, I cannot believe I'm saying this, is still one of the most fascinating aspects of our life. And I can't get around it. Somebody seemingly so simple and so cosmically not unimportant. I don't mean that, but undeep. There's no depth. He's fascinating. He's fascinating, not so much what he's saying, but how he fits in now. It's like why certain things cause an allergic reaction and certain things don't. It blows my mind. And I find it, my friends, a subject that I just have nothing but I'm just fascinated by over and over and over again. It is something that I can't put into words. So what I'm going to do today and what we're going to try to do, and I need you to lend your genius to this. We're going to find out what it is about this phenomenon that makes us who we are. What is, if you saw his debate, I could not watch it, but your thoughts are important and your thoughts are critical. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel. And now, as we read the other day about how gold and crypto and everything, how they are responding so frenetically to the world, listen to our very, very, very important sponsor. Well, chances are you've seen it before. The chaos in the markets, oil and stocks. Just when you thought it was safe and interest rates were rising, new threats come out of nowhere. Tensions are boiling from Asia to Europe. Adaptation is the key here to safeguarding your wealth. You may not have considered gold before. It's not speculation, but insurance. And right now, you need some insurance. Noble Gold Investments have been protecting investors from disaster for years with precious metals. So if you're worried, it might be time to take a fresh look at gold and silver. Gold is a proven safe haven shield for your portfolio and a volatility balance against uncertainty. If it helps, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 3-ounce silver American Virtue coin with its new IRAs this month. If you open your Noble Gold Investments IRA or 401k rollover, you can claim your coin today. Remember, crisis brews, portfolios waver, and gold insulates. Secure yourself against the threats. So go to LionelNationGold.com. That's LionelNationGold.com or call 877-646-5347 and tell them Lionel sent you. The only gold company I trust. And remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. It's hard to believe that the elections are so close. In fact, right now, to make you this kills me. As of December the 6th, as of right now, the election countdown, we have 335 days. Now, that may not sound like a lot to you, but it is just something that blows my mind. And every time, again, I'm trying to find something new, something different. I find it such a waste. There's a lot of other good stuff going on in the world, but I don't know if you are necessarily as interested in that as to what seems to be this us versus them showcase, specifically that involving Trump. Can't say it enough. Now, a couple of things we need to understand something. First, do you want the reality? This is where people say goodbye to me. This is where if I was on the Hannity show, or if I was talking to Trump himself, or if I was talking to anybody, the very first thing I would say. And by the way, B Cruz, a new member, welcome to the family. B, we love you and welcome aboard. Thank you. Your support is always so appreciated. I mean that. So thank you. One of the things which is interesting is that you have to ask this question. And by the way, look at some of your reactions so far. They're so terrific. Tomorrow will be, look at this, remember this day, 1941, tomorrow will be D-Day. Nobody will know about that. Nobody will ever understand this. Look at this. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy Heaven Day, brother. It's beautiful. I like that. It's beautiful. Just want to say this. I should spend more time with some of your wonderful, wonderful words. Why did the U.S. drop atomic bombs on Japan, but not Germany? Because of Pearl Harbor, I guess? Well, perhaps one reason why it had already surrendered during that particular time. That's a very good question. Maybe because Germany kind of looks a little bit like us. Maybe we have too many connections. Maybe if you're going to drop a bomb, maybe strategically, it's a very good question, by the way. Let me just stop by that. It's a very good question. Maybe strategically, maybe it's easier to drop it from the atoll, from the Bikini Atoll to Japan. Maybe, who knows? Or maybe we had a lot more Germans who live in this country, the people who look like us. That's a very interesting question. A fascinating question. Is it a redux or revenge? Ooh, or a revanchism or irredentism. Look those up today, by the way. Make a note of that. TDS and cognitive dissonance. Could not say it better myself. TDS and kind of a psychic allergy. Look at this. Exemplary lexicon with a dance around the truth. That's our Lionel. Thank you so much. Trump is very fascinating. Suzanne says it. Absolutely. Oh, more than you could imagine. More than you could ever imagine. Donald Trump is incredible. Mental illness is fascinating and intriguing and could be treated in controlled environment, like a state prison in Georgia for Trump and his cult members. Interesting. Very Samuel L. Jackson. No, bad hair day. Thank you. Trump, the only guy in USA with enough connections to stay out of jail and alive when hunted by the current government. LOL. Trump, the only guy in USA with enough connections to stay out of jail and alive when hunted by the current government. You think he is using his connections? Do you think these are connections? Does anybody really truly think that Trump is using connections? Do you think that this is it? No. No. Sometimes, and I say this with all due respect, sometimes your attempts to be funny, and sometimes there are you don't have to agree with the funny, but sometimes you can see the particular wit, the diagrammatic wit that's not there. But anyway, it's different. It's a different story. It's a different story. But irrespective of what you have to say, you must understand and grasp the notion that Trump is fascinating. And when you watch this, you realize how insular it is. When he's on with Hannity, whatever, you realize this isn't going anywhere. Because I wish I could walk onto that set and say, "Excuse me, Sean, Mr. President, I hate to bother you. Would you please look at the camera and say, do you honestly think there's any chance that they will let you win? Not that you can win, not that you aren't worthy of it. I'm not saying that, but do you think, Mr. President, there is any chance whatsoever that you will be allowed to win? Because if you do, you're delusional. You are delusional. This is the most important thing in the world. I love this other thing too. There is a fellow by the name of Roger Friedman and Showbiz 411. It's interesting. Rachel Maddow interview with Liz Cheney scores over 3 million views, wallops Sean Hannity. Isn't that something? And this is Maddow Madness led to the next hour where O'Donnell beat Greg Gutfeld 2 million to 1.68. May I tell you something? And by the way, Roger Friedman's a lefty and he does this Showbiz 401. I mean, it's okay, but he's a lefty, and that's why Drudge put it up first. Let me give you a little bit. And by the way, I realize this is a tad scattered, but this might be the most important. The most important. Ratings are like blood pressure. Do you ever have a blood pressure machine at home or a cuff at your home? Do yourself a favor and get one. You will sit there one day and you'll say, okay, let me try my cuff in the morning. You do it the right way. Oh, that's pretty good. Then you'll say, let me look at it, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And lo and behold, you do it 3 o'clock in the afternoon and your blood pressure's through the roof. It's like, what happened? What the hell is this? And the next thing you know, it's back normal. What? That's why normally when you have these monitors, they will average you out over the day and they'll say, oh, you're okay. That's what ratings are like. When you win one time, you ever notice it says Rachel Maddow? Oh, she beat Hannity one time. There's one story, not for the 12th consecutive month in a row. MSNBC is the undisputed. No, you don't hear that. You hear on this date, at this time, with this interview, they beat. And what's the demo? What's the demo? Remember the demo. Demos are critical. The demo is what group? Let me ask you something. If you sold, they used to have this stuff. Remember all this acne cream? I don't know, not Blistex, but Clearasil. Remember Clearasil? Remember when they sold Clearasil? If you had to buy Clearasil, if you had to sell Clearasil, do you think your audience is younger or older people? Probably younger. Good. Consequently, you want to advertise. Which show should you go on? Who's number one with your demographic? 12 to what? 16? I don't know who gets visits, but the point is it's not 25, 54, it's not 65 plus. Who is it? Who? It doesn't. So it's the Rachel Maddow was number one with which Democrat? Which Democrat? Interesting bun. Which demographic? Which 25, 54, 12 plus. 12 plus used to be 6th graders. I used to beat When I was in WABC, this is interesting. At the time, I have no idea. This is before they went to PPM, when they had regular Arbitron. I had the record for, I don't know, morning drive. It was 4141 back to back, 2 books, 12 plus, back to back. Nobody ever hit that. At the time, I think Curtis and Lisa. This was. No, just give me an example. It was 4141, and it was. So we went to the program director, who, of course, program directors historically are idiots. Program directors, most people, listen to what I'm saying. Most radio network, whatever, programmers are idiots. News directors are one thing, programmers are different. Idiots. I don't know where they come from. And they always love power, and they always love to be able to say, I did this. So when I went to this one guy, I said, hey, look at this. Well, that was during your OJ coverage. I said, OJ was just one part of 1 hour a day. Yeah, but what? Hey, Light FM was number 1. Yeah, but that's during the summer. Summer's always weak. Bad diary placement. They always have an answer for this. What do you mean? Well, the diaries that went out obviously went to young people. What? It's always, well, so you can play this ratings game. Do you know that in the old days, ratings went from a diary where you get this book? I never got one in my life, but they would send out our diary, and you would send it on one. Please mail it in on Thursday or something like that. Thursday. And people would have it and go, oh, what the hell? So they would say, you know what? Give me this pen. I'm gonna write here. I'm gonna say here, Howard Stern. You didn't listen to Howard Stern? Yes, I did. I like Howard Stern. 6 to 9, 9 to 6. What time is it? Or you give it to your kid. Fill this out. Or you write in what you wish. You write in ratings what you think you got. For example, here's one for you. My friend Gordon Soley, the great Gordon Soley, was on a thing called WTBS, Channel 17, Superstation. When cable first came about, like 1980, they had WCW. I'm sorry, Georgia Championship Wrestling. Before that, before the Nielsen box, people would fill in this nonsense. They would put in this stuff about what they thought, Masterpiece Theater and blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, the box went in. All of a sudden, he's the number 1 show. Gordon got a call from Ted Turner. He says, Gordon? Ted Turner. Yeah, right. They love our wrestling. He loved wrestling, and Ted Turner loved wrestling because people, hee-haw went number 1. Stuff that people, because it was a box. Okay, now we got this thing called PPM. Look at this. I love this. Here's my good friend. Look at it. Call me. Leave a like on this video to spread the truth, my friends. Lionel paid me to write this. Thank you, sir. Speaking of which, there was this PPM. There was this device when they first came out. It was like I don't know what it was, like a beeper or something. And they said, this is the new thing. You wear this, and wherever you go, it picks up what sounds you're listening to. You might be in a cab and you're listening to Rush Limbaugh. You might not want to listen. It doesn't say which stations do you like, but who's listening to what. If everybody's listening to Rush Limbaugh, but everybody hates him, who cares? It's this. So anyway, and there were some things it couldn't do, like headphones, obviously, and Muzak, and sometimes there'd be and everybody had a little frequency, a little kind of a tone where it would pick up on this. So later on, somebody said, well, let's have this device. Let's just have it at home and leave the radio on. And somebody says, no, you got to be moving. If you don't move, it detects that it's resting or charging. At night, you plug it in and it goes up. Somebody put it like on a fan, and that didn't work. I mean, they would figure out ways to get around ratings and who listens. And when you do YouTube, oh my God, you live and die and breathe. They don't know. When should you upload a video at 8 o'clock at night or 5 p.m.? Well, when is your audience there? What difference does it make when they're there? People watch this all the time. How many videos should you upload a day? No more than two. Some people who make 1 million or 1 million subs, they only do a video once every 2 weeks. There's no, and then you look at my thing. Who are my demographics? Males over 80 years old. Like, what the hell? So forget it. Forget it. You want to play these games? You will be locked into the world of metrics. It will kill you. It will kill you. The bottom line is simply this. Within this idealized, stylized world of TV, people like Roger Friedman and others, and you believe that when a station is doing well, the political motivation behind it is doing well. You never hear this. CNN beats. CNN's like this neutral territory. But MSNBC is the left. Fox is the right. It's that simple. It's just that simple. And that's the way we've done it. Rachel Maddow is an absolute, I think, has been a genius in presenting a rational, polite, intelligent. She is one of the nicest people you will ever want to meet. I have absolutely nothing bad to say about anything that she's. I disagree with her, whatever it is. She does exactly. She is like the best Malaysian restaurant, and I'm not a big Malaysian fan. You know what I mean? But as far as she goes, that's it. But what does this mean? What does a Rachel Maddow know? Nothing. Liz Cheney, nothing. Listen to me right now. Listen to me very carefully. I'm going to give you one rule that you will never forget, which is very, very critical. I want you to listen to me. One rule. But before I do, I want you to listen to this one. I told you this story. There's a great book. I think it was on The Rising. By the way, great show, The Rising with Brianna and what's his name? And even Sagar and crystal balls and all that. I mean, it's very good because you want to get it. Anyway, on The Rising, I had this book called The Control Oligarchs, and how there are people in the world like Bill Gates and others who want to control food and crops and eating, and what you thought was always going to remain undeniably yours is now the subject of control. Listen carefully to this. Patriot, the world at every level and facet is in peril. Everything has changed. The Great Reset is here. Just look around you. You must become more self-reliant and sufficient and secure the future for your family. Act today with My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply is the country's largest preparedness company, and it's more than equipped to stock your shelf. Their best-selling 3-month emergency food kit provides delicious breakfast, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage. And right now, listen carefully, it's $200 off. That's right. Get over 2,000 calories every day. Just add water and heat, then eat. Make sure every member of your family has a 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go right now to my special website at preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com for $200 in savings. Be sure to order by 3 p.m. for free same-day shipping. It's best to have it than to need it and not have it. Take $200 off right now at preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. Write this down, commit it to memory, preparewithlionel.com. All right, here's something that you have to remember, and this is a rule that will always benefit from drastically, okay? Never trust the quisling. Never trust the person who changes his or her mind. Never understand what the message is from somebody who isn't a member of the group anymore. Nobody trusts Liz Cheney. Nobody knows. Everybody knows what Liz Cheney's about. Liz Cheney and her father. You notice how Dick Cheney is nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be. Nothing. Nothing. Notice how George Bush really is. He's not involved in this. You might hear him every now and then. They have to do the obligatory anti-Trump thing, but it's not really. Not really. We're nobody. This isn't working. And what's happening is simply this: when you buy, if you want to go to a group of people and you say, "All right, I want to go to Washington." Here's what you do. What is everybody watching? They're watching CNN. CNN is the biggest thing in the world. They love CNN. CNN, they love CNN. MSNBC and Joe and whatever it is, absolutely huge. They love it. They love it. You may I'm not asking you what you think. I'm telling you what do they think. Liz Cheney is the Quisling. She's supposedly the controlled opposition. She is the person who theoretically, and this is important. She is the one who was she's doing it for Liz. She's in this maybe making her own kind of way. Have you ever seen somebody who has such a flat affect? There is no kindness or niceness or anything even remotely what am I trying to say? There's nothing remotely nice or warm or anything about her. Nothing. And that means something. But it doesn't really matter. Don't spend too much time. She is part of the group of people that is from the Cheney contingent. But again, it's so inside baseball that it doesn't really affect the elections. And that's okay. And the best way for Trump or anybody else to speak to her is the way you speak to that relative of yours that you meet every year who's a little crazy. Cousin Roger. You have to say, "Oh, there he is. Oh, hi. Hi, how are you? How have you been?" Yeah, poor thing. That's Liz Cheney, poor thing. She doesn't know. She's Liz Cheney. She's just, she's so don't worry about that. Where I told you before we got off on this. And by the way, I just want you to understand a little bit about the way these numbers work. And because believe me, pound for pound, inside and out, you got to look at the numbers. You got to look at the numbers. Inning by inning, round by round, year by year, Fox News, boom. That's it. I don't care what you say, like them, don't like this, doesn't matter. Pound for pound, they're exactly who they are. And your own particular views of it, can, what have you. The problem that I want to sit down with Trump about, he will never sit down. He will never listen to me. He will never. And he won't listen to you. I would say, do me a favor. I want you to look at me and tell me, you really are serious. You really have in your passion. You have that Lyndon Baines Johnson frenetic desire to win. Is that true? Can you tell me that? He'll say no. Lyndon Baines Johnson, LBJ, wanted to be president all his life, virtually. FDR, when FDR met LBJ for the first time, he was a freshman congressman. FDR said, "That's going to be a president. That's a guy." He had it. Trump didn't. Trump almost won by fluke. And I'm going to say something to you. And this was an idea which was first advanced by Mrs. L. When I heard it, I didn't disagree with it. I didn't really understand it. And now I absolutely understand it and believe it more than anything else. Do you believe? Answer my question. There's a two-part to this question. And I want you interactive, great friends. By the way, only have the likes of this are just horrible. I need 350 likes. Without 350 likes, the world, we don't get into that. I don't know what that word is, that where they recommend you. And here's recommended. That recommended is where you want to be. Because I promise you, my friend, somebody's going to be listening and say, I listened to this guy. The guy wore this funny hat. And he's okay. He said some stuff which it's very interesting. And it's true. What I'm telling you right now, Democrats and Republicans are going to agree with, because it's true. What I'm telling you, this is the absolute truth. Listen to me very carefully. Question number 1. Do you believe that Hillary Clinton would have won, if the shadow government ruling class had wanted her to win? Yes or no? Answer my question. Do you think, do you believe, do you believe that if they said, Hillary Clinton's going to win, with all of the poll numbers, everybody's saying she's going to win, everybody, every pollster, every left wing, every newspaper, it's a foregone conclusion, she's got it. Remember that? Of course. And if they said, we're going to continue with this, we're going to make this happen, either by let it happen or make it happen, whatever you want to call it, do you believe? And the answer is absolutely. If they had wanted Hillary Clinton to win, she would have won. Right? Right. Therefore, they didn't want Hillary Clinton to win. They wanted Trump to win. Or he won in terms of the numbers, but they let him win. She could have won. Let me say this again. She could have won, but they didn't want that. They wanted him. Why? They could have stopped this so easily. Do you think all that stuff that they figured out during 2020, you don't think they had these available legions of people to burn ballots and change numbers and whatever? Do you think so? Do you understand? Do you really understand? Do you get this? Do you grasp this? I ask you a question. Do you? Do you understand that if they wanted Trump to win or not win, they would have controlled it? Do you understand that? Do you get this? Do you see this? Do you understand? Do you have to say this? You must. If they wanted Hillary to continue to win, either because she really was the winner, she deserved it, whatever, they would have done it, but they didn't. Do you understand that? Now, why do you think that is? Why? The reason why is simply this. Nothing could have ever happened in terms of where we are now without 4 years of Trump. 4 years of Trump was the absolute cataclysmic change. And by the way, it's not because they didn't like Hillary Clinton. It's not because they didn't like her, Democrats hated her or anything. No. That's nothing. Nobody dislike. That's regular people talking, this business. Oh, they don't like her. No, nobody cares about liking her. That's not it. The issue is very simply this. Do you believe, this is important, that anything that we're going through now could have not happened without 4 years of Trump? 4 years of Trump. Not that they could have anticipated it, but think about this. Everybody right now, do yourself a favor. Do me a favor. Do all of us a favor. I need 350 likes. Come on now. You got to like this. Do me a favor and write this down. Name one thing that happened during the Trump administration that nobody in the shadow government could have ever imagined. Let me begin. Number 1. You ready? Let me begin. Number 1. January 6th. January 6th was the most important event that ever happened. January 6th was the most important thing that ever happened in the history of these people and the world that they live in. It was the ability to completely see and to fix what was going to happen regarding the quashal, the deliberate destruction of of free speech and opinion and the like. January 6th, they could not have ever even imagined. January 6th changed everything. January 6th it was like taking people who had never had this, I don't know, whatever, what do you want to call it? To have this, I guess it's hard to say what this is. This target practice, so to speak, or whatever it was. That's number one, January 6th. Number two. Now, by the way, our friend says here, was January 6th a set up? Let me ask you this. Was January 6th a set up? Was it? That's such a great question. And now let me ask you, many times people have said in the old days things like, oh, that you've just inspired me. Was January 6th a set up? Okay. Who wants to speak for the class? Who wants to speak for the class? Was January 6th orchestrated by, created by, organized by anti-Trump forces? Were the Proud Boys, or whoever these people were they basically agents provocateurs? Was it a false flag? Do you think it was created and contrived? Oh, somebody uses the word hijacked. Ooh, I like that word. I like that. That's a big, I like that. I want to do a video on that one. Very good. Do you think it was where it would have never happened, and somebody at some agency level, maybe some dark paneled room, got together and says, now listen, here's what we're going to do. We know that Trump is going to contest the elections. We know this. We know it, and we have people who are in his wheelhouse, whatever, who are going to either suggest to him that there is a possibility for him to use Mike Pence as a means, a force has that Mike Pence, we're going to use Mike Pence as the kind of like the tackling dummy. And we're going to have these people show up. And they're going to say, and Trump is going to, in essence, say, Mike, don't certify this election. Now, here, I'm showing you the seditious conspiracy statute. And we're going to set him up, and we're going to show that the deliberate interruption of the official proceedings, not to mention the trespassorial, is a federal law. We will have it ready so that we will how do we say this? We will control this. Trump will go out, and we know he will say the wrong thing. We know that Trump will say something that can be construed as not only excitatory, but an incitement arranged, whatever. You got it? You got it? You got it? This is what we will do. We know this will happen. And we know that there will be some of some people who will show up, and we are going to turn this event into something that never was going to happen in the first place. Now, let me look at some of your comments. Let me see if I can, without going through them and just evaluating. Moon landing hoax. Again, I don't know what that is. I'm going to do it. There are not so many people who believe that there was a moon landing hoax. January 6th was a setup. I like this. This is Smiling Slug. Thank you, Mr. or Ms. Slug. You got the ball rolling. A blessing in disguise. Don't know what that means. Nothing in politics or on the world stage happens by accident. Are there such a thing as coincidence? Remember that? Oh, I like that. My handwriting has deteriorated to that of somebody who has never held a pen or a implement in their life. I like this. Well, the feds knew. The feds knew. The feds knew what? What did they know, dear Eric, brother Eric? What did the feds know? They were saying, come here and January 6th, we're going to protest. Yeah. What did they know? Here's a good one. Yes, mostly one. I like that one. I like the hedge. It was a yes, mostly. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When they saw the thousands of Trump supporters coming to D.C., they freaked. Interesting. But what do you mean they freaked? Freaked about what? What did they do to accommodate the freak? Ray Epps. Where is Ray Epps? Ray Epps, I don't want to brace. I don't want to, how do I say this? I don't want to ruin your sense of right or wrong. Ray Epps was so insignificant, it wasn't even remotely funny. Oh, they knew about him. He might have been I don't know if he's not working off charges, but he was there and he wasn't stopped, and maybe he wasn't stopped because they like what he was saying. But Ray Epps has become the Saul Alinsky. Remember when somebody said Saul Alinsky? Go, who the hell is Saul Alinsky? Everybody, all of a sudden, people were going crazy. Even Bill Maher one time says, "Who the hell is Saul Alinsky? Well, who the hell is Ray Epps? What are you talking about?" Ray Epps was not it. It was hijacked for sure. Hijacked? I don't believe it was hijacked at all. I don't believe it was hijacked at all. So many feds instigating. Instigating? Instigating? By the way, Norman Lear dies at 101. Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Norman Lear dead at 101. And you were here. Remember this moment. Remember this moment. Behavioral science. Don't know what that means. So many feds instigating. Instigating or there? Were there feds there? This is Washington. Of course. You do know how when you say the feds, there's park police. Yes. Instigating? Deep state set it up to frame Trump. LOL. How did you set it up? How I say absolutely not. Believe me, they didn't stop anything. And I'm sure we don't know the full idea. But if you think that was a federal government production, no way. Didn't have to. That's called lie hop, baby. Let it happen on purpose. It was never hijacked. Never. Now, could it have been stopped? That's the question. What your correct story is simply this. Could it have been stopped? Absolutely. Absolutely. Lie hop. You've got my hop. You've got make it happen. You think the feds started it, created it. Absolutely not, dear friends. Absolutely not. I know you are wonderful. You are wonderful, dear friends, okay? But you are so, so wrong. Here we go. You are so, so wrong. And I know this hurts you, and I know you may not love me. You don't have to make things happen. You don't have to. I think your level of innocence is such that you believe there to be these what's the word you used words inside job. We saw this during 9/11. It was an inside job. What does that mean? What you know because what it was a controlled demolition. Yeah, something like that. Everybody said it was an inside job. It was all an inside job, and I know what they were saying, but it was a could 9/11 have been the actual work of the named how do I say this the bad guys, Al Qaeda themselves? Maybe. Do you think they could have? So sometimes we use this word, and you have this IHOP. It happened on purpose. You're confusing the government orchestrating it with saying we know what's going to happen. Could Trump be this stupid? I will bet you anything. What happened was somebody picked up the phone and said, "Whatever happens, let's see how stupid Trump is." I don't think anybody ever even imagined it would be. And then I think the day they had intel, they had rats, they had people working off charges. That's it. They had people who were when this guy shows up with the eye patch, there's something about the eye patch. There's something from the days of the Hathaway man to the fellow who plays guitar with Kansas. There's something about an eye patch, Moshe Dayan. There's something about it. It tells the world pirate, arr, it just sends a message. And you may laugh at that. You may think, I've lost my mind. And yes, I have, but not because of this. Oh, no. A perfect storm of controlled variables. You know what? Interesting. Interesting. Right now, if I wanted to work, let's say, give me an example. I represent Israel. I'm just going to say this. Or Palestinian. It doesn't matter. Whatever you call the group. I know there's a group. I know what's going to happen. I go to Israel. Please, this is just for purposes of explaining this. I go to Israel and I say, here's what we're going to do. There's a group of people. We haven't infiltrated them. We know what they're going to do. They represent Palestinian, whatever. This is the Soros group. They're going to meet at Grand Central, and they're going to meet at this particular time. And I've got some people that are in here. I got some real troublemakers that we have on hand. And our troublemakers are going to come in, and they're going to be there exactly this time. Now, here's what we're going to do. During the course of this, I know that they're going to say this. I know that the group of people are going to be meeting here. We're going to make sure that NYPD does not get in the way and provides an unobstructed view. This is coming. This is happening. I also am going to have some people get in this that are going to maybe rev up the crowds a little bit. And then during the course of this, watch what happens. Let me tell you something. If you believe in God, thank God nobody was shot. Other than the whose name I can't believe it must be early. This woman who was shot by the guard, which we will never ever get to the bottom of. Barry Taylor says the Dems see themselves as Roman Senate perched among the ruins, defending against the barbarian hordes. Not the Democrats. I think this iteration of the ruling class does. Most Democrats have no idea. They really don't care. Remember, rank and file Democrats have no interest in this. Um, L, using your legal expertise, please share your thoughts on how and why some of the J6ers are still in the DC jail waiting for their day in court. I will never, ever, Mr. Fox, be able to tell you why that happened, how that happened. Ashley Babbitt, thank you for Ashley Babbitt. Never heard, we will never hear about her, the individual who shot her, why, lawsuits, nothing. Maybe that'll be done under the table. Who knows? Now, let me also tell you something. I think do I believe that I think Ashley Babbitt was out of her mind trying to break through, get inside doors and things like that? Absolutely. I will go on record by telling you, I think anybody who dared walk in, I had absolute. You're out of your mind doing this. Deserve to be shot? No, no, no. Mm-mm. Nope. I know a little bit about this. Police are taught, trained. Here's what happens when you have an advancing group. You have barricades. You got this. You got this. You use the gun last. You don't need to have training to say if somebody comes in, start shooting them. No, we bought you these shields. We got these doors. You were gonna go through you were gonna go through drill after drill after drill after drill. Here's what happens. Somebody storms it. What do you do? Here's the button. This is what there was no. They took their D stringers and put this guy. This guy didn't know what he was doing. What do you think Ashley? What is she? What do you think Ashley Babbitt would have done had she broken through? What? It's ridiculous. Absolutely unnecessary. But she's crazy to do that. Those people walking around, the guy with the eye patch. Anytime you see somebody with a with the Gadsden flag, oh, run from these folks. No, 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 no. Listen, January 6th is over. January 6th is over, and this 1776 crap is over. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is over. I can't say it enough. It is over. Period. End of discussion. Period. Period. We don't do this. I have never, ever seen in a very long time groups of people who actually change public opinion by virtue of their movements and the like. Beacon Speaks Telethon, thank you. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm sorry. No. But irrespective, you did not have to do this. This was LIHOP. This was it. You can change. You can. The last time we saw anything even remotely similar to any of this stuff, the last time was, dare I say, I believe it was Atpor. It was Atpor was occupation or Occupy Wall Street. That was kind of like the last time we really saw something good like that. Oh no. So what you need to do, my friends, we need to sit down and you've got to be able to explain to me how it was arranged. It was a setup. No, it wasn't. They didn't set anything up. They didn't have to set anything up. They didn't have to set anything up because you've got these idiots that people have been watching for the longest time because they're telling you what they're going to do and they should be pushed on. It just. Here is the guy, the Owen Schroyer. That is a travesty. That's our Julian Assange. He's a journalist. I'm sorry. Snowden, Assange, he's a journalist. These are things which I don't even I'm telling you, the fundamentals of our Constitution are under such attack right now. It is not even funny. It is not your house solely, and there are rules. Ben, you're correct. I think old Ben's right. Stand by for 1 second, my friends, because we've got something very, very important, very, very critical, especially with Christmas being just around the corner. Let me tell you about my great friends at mypillow.com. Mypillow.com. And by the way, use promo code Lionel. Use promo code Lionel and receive a free gift. No purchase necessary. And yes, I realize that gifts are free. It's a tautology. Get over it. Sue me. So what are we talking about? How about Giza Dream bed sheets, My Pillow 2.0, sheets, slippers, percales, towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, name it. Items to luxuriate and relax. And don't forget, Christmas is just around the corner. And yes, it makes a great stocking stuffer, and it's fine for dad or grad. Made by the greatest company from the greatest people in the greatest country. Or call 800-645-4965 if you're OG, and see how quickly Mike Lindell answers the phone. 800-645-4965. But don't forget, only use promo code Lionel. That's mypillow.com. Promo code Lionel, mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Now, my friends, I appreciate how sometimes, and I've seen this because I've known you and I've been with you for years, you get involved in a particular scrum. Raul Rodriguez, by the way, says the shadow government reminds me of the gods in the movie Jason and the Argonauts. To be true, to be correct, absolutely. There are people who will sit there, and anytime they think there's something fishy, anytime they suspect there's something fishy, what do they do? What do they do? They have this thing where they sort of say, huh, there's something weird about this. And what do they do? What's critical about it? They will immediately think that there's some form of some inside job, and they love that, and they don't give it a lot of time. They don't give it a lot of thought, and I appreciate it. And believe me, I understand. God knows, I understand how much fun it is sometimes to say things like this. I believe me, I absolutely grasp and understand thoroughly, without a doubt. I understand your things. But let me give you an example. The other day we were driving near it's Montclair, New Jersey, and I think it's Montclair. Anyways, the Buzz Aldrin School. There's a school named after Buzz Aldrin. So a friend of mine said, Buzz Aldrin, do you think they that the moon landing was fake? So I said, oh, this is perfect. Do you think it was fake? I got to ask you, because I know you. Do you think it was fake? Do you? Do you think that everything might have been Kubrick, it might have been a sound stage, it might have been whatever? Do you believe that that is fake? I got to know. The whole thing, fake, never happened. Another no, another no. Come on, not sure. Okay. The question you have to always ask, you can't land on a hologram. I don't know. No, I like this. This is very interesting. The first question you should always ask. The first question you should always ask is it even remotely possible? Is it even if is something possible? Is something possible? There was a fellow one time, you're not going to believe this, who years ago suggested that Jackie Kennedy killed John Kennedy. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. I said, but she's sitting. No, but now the question is, before we get to the question of would Jackie Kennedy have killed her own husband, you got to ask yourself, is it even possible? No, because she's right there. It is physically impossible for her to do shots from the back. No, it did not happen. It did not happen. So you got to ask the question, is something even possible? If it's not possible, we don't even go to step two. Not is it plausible, not cui bono, cui prodest, who benefits. No, 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 no. Is it even possible? Do you think anywhere in the history that Vladimir Putin, with his access to everything, do you think that Vladimir Putin would have probably been able to say, you know, we got to the bottom of this, and I've got proof that the Americans didn't land on the whatever it was, and I'm going to destroy their claim to fame. Do you think Putin would have done something? I need 350 likes. I don't know what's the matter with you. Not only Putin, anybody else. Do you know what's going on? Do you think if he had talked to his FSB, KGB, the NKVD, whatever it was beforehand, he would have said, I want you to go on and get me this? Do you think Vladimir Putin, after what we've said about him, our press, that he would have said, excuse me, yes, they say I'm crazy, I'm this, I'm that, I'm demented. I got news for you. I got news for you. And you're not gonna. I got it right here. Here is the storyline, so to speak. Here is the pictures, and we've got this, and this, and it never happened. And here's the guy. And do you think that that Russia or the Soviet Union, after we beat them to it, would have said that they would have had access to it? Yes. Do you think that some guy, I've got a friend of mine, he's so terrific, he goes, look, here's a picture of the step. There's no dust or whatever, or look at the shadows, or there's no stars, or whatever the particular. Do you think it's possible, that Vladimir Putin, forget Putin, that the Russians would have had access to this? And number two, do you think they would have done anything in their power to ruin our day? Yes. So why don't you think they did it? Because they couldn't, because it happened. Even though it makes no sense, the radiation, the clothing, you can go through everything in the world. Mike Collins was weird. Armstrong wouldn't talk about it. Do you think that somehow anybody out there would love to bring down the United States, the biggest fraud, where these guys flew up? I guess I don't know where they went. They kind of went someplace flying around and then came to, who knows? All of the telemetry, all of this stuff. So whether we get to even the notion, whether we get to the issue of, and forget how many people would have known, do you think that you can keep this which is happening? It's one thing, 9/11, Pearl Harbor, it happened. And now you're seeing it, but you are telling them in advance. Do you think it's even possible? And some people say, I never believed we got to the moon. Never. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you think that it's possible for our number one allies to destroy our number one claim to fame, especially when we announce it in advance and we tell them, pay attention, and the inside moles is, oh, come. You've got to, I know that some of you, and I love you, I know some of you deep down inside really love great stuff like this. But you got to ask yourself, be very careful when you say, 9/11, excuse me, 9/11, January 6th was a setup. Didn't have to set it up. You were announcing it. They walked right into it. Trump and his friend Trump never realized how these people play tough. And Ray Epps, that's the biggest, he's the solid. Ray Epps, what are you talking about? All right, dear friends, thank you. 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 You're very good. Think about very carefully what I've said. And by the way, don't ever change the way you are. That's why you are loved. All right, dear friends. And also, don't forget, let me please tell you this. Remember this, and I want you to know this. Make sure you got a little bit of time now, but time is running out. I want you to know that we have got, and these are I want you to be at the oh God, what am I trying to say? The cutting room. Yes, the cutting room. There we go. The cutting room. Here we go. This is it. The cutting room is here. And this is the link. Let me put this up for you. This is the link, and make sure you go there because I want to see you on February the 3rd. Bring your camera, bring your everything, bring your love, bring yourself. Doors open at 6. That's the link. Don't tarry. Hie, Hie. And by the way, I heard this great line, this wonderful line from Balzac. I thought it was so true. Balzac, like Balzac. Balzac says, I belong to the opposition party, which is called life. If somebody says, what is your political party? I belong to the opposition party. That's who we are, my friend. All right, dear friends, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for being not only who you are, but what you appear to be. We will talk later this eve at 7 p.m. And until then, don't ever forget this. Don't ever forget this. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. That's it.